Hello and welcome back to Moon-based MGTOW, your refuge from the big blue pill planet with red pills that are out of this world. Thank you very much for visiting my channel today, and today we'll be discussing finding the wall theory, plateaued productivity, and leaving monk mode. Now, I was afraid when I first started monk mode because I was afraid that I would find toiling away in solitude more preferable to socializing in mainstream society, and that I would find some sort of knowledge, whether about myself or about the world, that would never truly allow me to return to normal everyday relationships with friends, family, and lovers. And I still have that fear, but I've at least discovered now that there can be some limits to my productivity. For example, I have a stay-at-home job, which is quite conducive to my current status within monk mode, and I make my own schedule, and my quota is anywhere between 20 to 40 hours a week. At first, I tried the standard Monday through Friday 8 hours a day system, but then I realized that no one actually works 8 hours straight because of the lunch breaks. And I also recall that average workers usually spend their off time recovering from the expense of drawn out work days. So I decided to make every day identical but sustainable, and break up the 40 hours across the week. This was a solid plan until I hit the wall. You see, my job actually has a physical limiter on it, as repetitive clicking while reviewing over 135 items per hour for several hours a day will slowly chew away at the tendons between your fingers. Surprisingly though, I was quite relieved when this happened because I have a conscientiousness inside me that would not allow me to dip under the maximum hours available without feeling guilty. So it is unfortunate that I wasn't able to make as much money working at full productivity, but the silver lining in this whole situation is that space did open up to work on my own personal projects, and that includes my blog and this YouTube channel and BitChute channel right here. But you see, this doesn't dispel my fear, because I realized that suffering from a lack of work only led to me finding more work. I created a whole new sort of business on the side because that space opened up. So my fear still remains. So I wonder, will there ever be a space where my work is not so highly prioritized and I may potentially establish a stronger social life instead, or participate in more leisurely activities? Will there ever be a point where I can just settle down? I don't know. But I suppose the most moral and logical thing to do with my gifts is to fulfill them until I do reach that wall again. The point when my body goes tired, when my business stops growing, effectively when the well runs dry. Now I want to end this video relating it all back to MGTOW though, because I want to talk about a man of former potential. This man was so talented before his intensified pursuit of women. To me, this man was developing into an incredible musician, and one that always had a knack for finding the best connections. But unfortunately, he met his first speed bump when he decided to have a child out of wedlock. But even then, his art could still be salvaged. After work, he could have come home to a single apartment, put his headphones on, and just toiled away in his laboratory, only resting on the weekends to raise his child. And raising his child would be his version of hitting the wall. That would have put a limiter on his productivity. Unfortunately, his work life increased with new employment, and his social life increased with now attending church. He started to roll back a little bit on his music production. However, I saw flickers of his old tendencies coming back. He was part of a church and he decided to build a studio inside of it. But unfortunately, a flood destroyed his equipment. I believe after that incident, he was left without a purpose and he was vulnerable to be distracted. And at this moment, he set his sights on a woman. And lo and behold, he decided to engage in marriage. So every day now, This woman will occupy what could have been his great workspace, his laboratory, and he will not mourn the lost art he never produced, for the sensations in his body would validate to him that nothing more of worth can be accomplished now that he's married and with this woman. And this feeling will last, but it will only last until he hits the wall, until he realizes one day that he has nothing else to show for his life's work except for what remains of his once youthful woman, now older, and the hope that his child may live to outdo him. Thank you very much for sticking with me today. I hope you enjoyed that content. Please stick around for the credits and let the music play out, and I will see you on the far side.